Actually, I'm going to mute.
Hey, YouTube land. Welcome to this episode of Explain It with your host, Ingryd Hernandez, and my other host, Caroline Cain.
What?
I hope you're having a great day today, Caroline. Today, we have an amazing couple with us, Angie and Milinazzo. And they're going to be talking to us about the elephant challenge. But before we go into the elephant challenge and how anybody who ever asks, how do I get started in real estate? This is the episode for you today. There's a few things that Caroline and I want to reinforce and remind folks in case they are interested. So first off, if you are not aware, at the end of this month, so June 30th through July 2nd, we are having the Mindset Manor Mastermind. So we are going to talk about all things mindset, and we're going to have Mindset Marlon, aka Marlon Johnson, leading that 3-day event. So amazing things. You're going to have your food paid for, you're going to feed you every day. We're going to have some experiential things. So part of managing your mindset or upping your mindset is also having experiences that help you shape your new beliefs. So part of that, it will be experiencing as well. I am going to throw up I should have probably thrown up the link. So Caroline, tell us a little bit about your day while I go look for the link from Marlon.
Yeah, I'm actually just going live on Instagram here so everybody can tune in. If you guys just came over here from Instagram Live, welcome. So I'm going to say this about the mastermind while she's getting links so everybody can see it. Actually, the quickest way is if you look underneath our names, you can see my Instagram name is at TheCarolineCain under Ingryd's. Hers is Ingryd with a Y. So it's INDGRYD. Wait, did I put a D?
INGRYD.
G in my head sounded like a D. INGRYD_Hernandez. Hernandez is spelled just like it sounds, but on her link tree, you need to give me the QR code, sir, whatever the code is, so I can put it on my link tree for you guys too. But Ingryd has it in hers, so you guys can come hang out with us. There it is. She's Inception.
So
has more tabs on their computer right now, you or me? That is a lot of tabs, my friend.
I know. I be tabbing.
But I just want to say this about the mastermind. Marlon is the biggest reason. Like, I could have bought my own house, and Marlon is the entire reason I moved in and had roommates. So if you guys do have the opportunity, I think there's only a few seats left to go and hang out with Ingryd and Marlon, and me and Daryl and everybody else is going to be there. I think you and Marlon said there's only 3 seats left. So for those of you that are interested, you do need to apply pretty quickly. Do you give me the link and I'll throw it up, Ingryd? Just send it to me.
Okay.
I'll do it. And then, but it's a really cool opportunity. My favorite thing. So if you guys have seen me talk about this, or if you've ever been in a Zoom with me, I talk about, there we go. Perfect. So I'll pull it up. If you've ever been in a Zoom with me before, maybe I can't pull it up. Can you send it to me as a private messaging group? I didn't start doing self-help stuff until I was in my late 20s. So I'd say 28 is when I really started doing it. And I wish I would have gotten started sooner. So by getting started sooner in working on myself, I've been able to, I used to have a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. I wasn't making as much money as I'm making now. Kind of didn't really know. I felt like everything was going to work out in life, which it has ultimately, but it's because I've really applied myself and figured out what I wanted. And one of my favorite things about Marlon and Ingryd, this is my closest friends. They have been the most instrumental parts of my life that are like, hey, are you hitting your goals? Are you staying accountable with what you wanted? This is where you're reaching out to me. Do you have clarity on what you want? Do you know how to get clarity on this? So Ingryd and Marlon are just the people that you'd want to be around. So if you're on the fence and you're not really sure what you're doing, you should absolutely come out here, and I will share the link to this, we can share it in the comments here, but I'll show you guys what it looks like as well. So let me present this page so everybody can see it. And here we are. So now you should be able to see it. Ingryd, can you see it up here pretty clearly?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. All right, so here it is. It's the Mindset Mastermind event, June 30th to July 2nd. All you got to do is put your name in here. There you go. It's $2,500 for what? How many? So what is that? Is there 31 days in June or just 30?
It's just 30. So it's 3 days, 2 nights.
3 days, 2 nights, all of the activities. I know Marlon talked about going out and hiking with us and everything. So if you guys have the opportunity, click on this, check it out. I do think there's only 3 seats left, so just don't miss out on that opportunity while you guys can. And then the only other thing before we get started, bring up our special guest today that talk about how you can do deals and get started. This is a free podcast. This is something that we are running to help everybody. I know I've met quite a few people in the last few weeks. I went to a barbecue and somebody's like, thank you so much for the Explain It podcast. I appreciate that you guys break things down into bite-sized pieces. So we do this because Ingryd and I all started as a newbie, not knowing where to get started. I'm a little behind Ingryd. Ingryd's been investing or been in real estate longer than me. Ingryd's been investing less time than me, but Ingryd had a head start. So I would say, don't feel like you have to build Rome in a day. And I know I was just on Instagram Live and somebody said this. So Angie and Dom, this might be your opportunity for somebody to reach out to you to become a baby elephant. But somebody's like, I need to get on a team that's going direct to seller and direct to agent. And I was like, come over to the podcast. You can see how it's done. So I'm a big monkey see, monkey do. I'm the person who reads a paragraph and I'm like, what the heck did I just read? I need to read it again. But if I get my hands dirty and you show me how to do something and I do it again, I've gotten the hang of it. So if you are like, I'm really tired of trying to figure it out on my own, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do, you need to get on a team with somebody. All right. Join somebody's team, figure out what you like, figure out what you don't like. And if you guys are on here, what's up, Chris? The Davies are on here. Hi, Rachel. If you guys are on here, please click the like button for us. And then if you are not already, hit that subscribe and share this with a friend. And if you guys would in the comments, what are you looking for? What can we do to bring more value and help you all out? That is really what we're trying to do. Where do you need help and what are we missing? Last week we had on, what was his name? We had EQRP. What's his name?
Joel Landon.
Joel Landon. So I'm waiting for the 2 weeks before I enroll so I can make sure I get Ingryd that affiliate payday because she introduced him to me. But I've already told my mom, I've already told a bunch of my buddies from the Army about this opportunities, and I would not have known it without Ingryd. So we do this by what we're working on in our own business and our own life, and we're going to pass it on to you. So if you guys are looking for anything, like we've talked about, we've had somebody come on here about pre-foreclosures. We have all kinds of people. So please let us know what you're looking for, and we can make it happen. And I miss it. What's up, Terry? Oh my gosh, we have all kinds of people. Cora, hi, everyone. So Ingryd, am I missing anything, or should we just get started on this podcast?
Let's get started. In fact, we're going to answer, how can I get started in real estate investing?
Let's bring him on. Dom, adjust your camera so we can see your face and turn it down a little. There, a little more. Maybe a little more.
You want me to grow? I don't think I can grow. So
and there we go. Your name's covering your face.
Check this out.
Oh, nice. How's
that?
I love you. You look good, dude. Well, Dom and Angie, are you guys related or something?
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Very.
And you have to know how to say their last name. Milinazzo. And it comes with this.
So,
Hey.
here they say Milinazzo, right? But in Italy, where my dad used to say Milanazzo, because the Z's are like pizza instead of pizza. But I say Milinazzo, otherwise it sounds, nobody gets it.
Gotcha. Well, that's cool. So wait, is your dad from Italy?
No, but my grandfather was.
Oh, nice. That's really cool.
Oh, okay.
My dad's from Italy.
Oh, you're Italian too? Jeez.
Yeah.
Sure.
I lived in Italy.
Did you really?
You did?
Yeah, for 2 years. I lived just south of Naples in an area called Avellino.
Oh.
So, yeah.
And you could speak Italian a little bit because you could speak Spanish, right?
I can understand Italian a bit because I speak Spanish. Italian was actually my second language I've ever spoken. It's just if you don't use it, you lose it. So
My hair, I didn't use it. I lost it.
So I feel Italian as well.
Joey spent like 6 months in Italy studying.
That sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so have you guys been back to where you're from in Italy, like where your ancestors are from? Oh, well, let's do some deals together and then let's go make it a trip over.
Yeah.
What do you think? We could just go stand through.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's buy something in Italy.
Ingryd used to play soccer in the streets and everything.
I did actually.
I know these things. I can feel these things coming through. If you guys have not seen Ingryd on any type of sport or activity, one of the most competitive. She might be almost as competitive as me. Very competitive individual.
Right
so,
on.
anyways,
Angie's a soccer player.
oh, nice. Okay, we got a little.
Did you grow up playing soccer?
Have you guys
can kick each other.
Have you guys seen Ted Lasso at all? You guys haven't watched? I know Ingryd has. I just finished watching the entire series a couple of days ago. You need to watch it on Apple TV. One of the best shows you can watch. I use that in like trainings all the time when I tell people how to like get through stuff. Actually,
be a goldfish.
Yes, so you've seen me talk about that. There's one clip that I like to show to people, like especially when you're getting started and doing something new, because I don't know who's watching. I know we have people on Instagram Live. I know we have people on YouTube Live, but I'm curious, and I'm going to ask you guys, the hosts up here with me. For everybody that's watching and listening in, have you ever called somebody and been rejected? And you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can keep doing this. Like I just keep getting told no again and again and again. Because I've been there. Have you ever experienced that, Angie?
Yeah.
Dom?
I have, definitely.
Ingrid?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Ingrid already knows the line. I think we could actually probably share this. Let me see if I can pull it up really quickly and show you guys. One of my favorite things from Ted Lasso, and I use this in my little trainings, is he said he told one of his defensive players to be a goldfish. So let me pull it up really fast, and I'll share it so everybody can get what I'm talking about here. So let me share my screen, and Angie and Dom, you can understand why I love the show, and then we can get into how to get started and work together. This is one of my favorite little clips here. Make sure my volume's up.
Why is my thing like that?
Oh, fuck. So we'll get some flowers. Because this spot here is where Sam died. It's very sad. Oi, walk away, you little prick.
All right, Grandad, keep your wig on.
Thanks, Roy. There you go.
Hey, Sam, come here a sec.
Coach, I'm sorry.
You know what the happiest animal on earth is? It's a goldfish. You know why?
No.
It's got a 10-second memory. Be a goldfish, Sam.
So I like to use that just when I'm talking to people when they get started, because you got to be a goldfish. It's like you're not going to get a yes every time you get on the phone. You're going to get a bunch of no's, and there's just a bunch of little like great coaching tidbits in that. One of my favorite shows you can ever watch, and it's a really good little funny sitcom or series, so you should check it out. It's on Apple TV. But I know that you guys do. I'm gonna let Ingrid kind of get us going here, but I know that you guys do a lot with the Elephant Challenge and helping new investors get started on getting their first deal. So before I hand it over to Ingrid and let her pepper you with questions, because I will take the microphone the entire evening.
No way.
How long did it take you guys when you got started in real estate to get your first investment deal? From like when you're like, all right, I'm going to get an investment property. I've decided today is June 14th, 2023, and I locked it up and closed on it and I started making money. How long did it take you in that time period? Like whatever it was.
I think there's two sides to that. One is, our retail side, because we have that. We're brokers, real estate agents, right? And we did a few deals before we got into sub 2. But as far as sub 2 goes, it took us like a year. How long did it take, Ange?
I think it was like 7 months.
7 months?
7 months to a year.
Yeah.
But to get to own our own, it took us longer than that.
So what do you mean? So you mean subject to that you sold to somebody else? Or
Yeah, like we wholesaled it, right?
Okay, so I'm curious for yourself, for when you got something that you're keeping as your own investment property where you started cash flowing, when you decided, all right, Angie, we're in this together. We're going to start making passive income so we don't have to be realtors calling people every day. We can just start replacing our expenses with our passive income. From that time, that date you finally decided to when you started cash flowing, how long?
It's like 2 years, Ange.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it took us a long time. I mean, I thought we made a bad decision, and it was rough. I know why now, just because we kind of like started at the bottom, learned everything up, didn't squat up, right? Because we had our own company, and I know everything. I think, right? I'm like, oh, we got it. So it took us a long time, but it's good though, because now we have all of those skills in house to get the job done. Whereas maybe if we would have squatted up, we probably would have got some deals sooner, but we probably wouldn't be as well versed as we are right now.
Okay. Now, Ingrid, I know we've talked about this on a podcast before. How long did it take you from when you decided that date to when you started cash flowing?
So cash flowing?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, or just let's just do your first investment property.
So from when I joined sub 2, okay, so I actually house hacked for 2 years. So we had a property in Maricopa. We moved to Chandler and we rented it out for 2 years. And then we decided to sell it and not have to pay money on the capital gains we made because it was less than 500,000. We were a married couple. And so that rule, made sense for us to sell. But like that was my first taste of investing. And honestly, I regretted that we sold that house. We sold that house for $225,000. It was recently resold.
When did you sell it? What year?
2017.
Okay, go ahead. 225.
And it was recently resold, just recently, and I think it sold for $300,000. So like
crazy.
Yeah, crazy. But beyond, so for me, like what mattered more at the time was not paying capital gains. But I love that I have that regret though, because that regret reminds me that I'm not going to regret keeping property. And honestly, that has helped me through some tough times because I ended up keeping a property in Tucson that I didn't expect to. But I was like, future Ingryd is not going to regret this. So it's okay. So that actually helped me with my mindset. But from the moment, but like 2017, all that, like that was like the first taste of investing. My goal was to be a buy and hold investor after that. I was like, okay, I can do this. And so I joined Sub 2. And honestly, we had that cash from when we sold the house. And everybody was telling me I didn't have enough money, even though we had like $40,000 or $50,000 in the bank. I was like, how the hell do I get started if 40, 50K isn't enough for me to go buy a house and flip it or buy a house and hold it? Like, what in the world, right? And so I couldn't figure it out. So I started listening to Bigger Pockets. I started getting on YouTube University. And so the summer of COVID, all I did, like painted this room, for example, and I listened to Bigger Pockets and then just started searching more on YouTube. So, quickly, I joined Sub 2 January 2021. It took me 9 months to get my first virtual flip under contract. And then that kicked off momentum. So after getting that first contract, 3 months later, I was under contract to own my first Sub 2. And it's my highest cash flowing. No, I can't say it's my highest cash flowing anymore, but it was like a good cash flowing property that first year I owned it.
So what was the total time from 3 years?
So from when I joined Sub 2, a year. From when we sold our property, that was November or something like that, 2017. So yeah, quite some time.
So I'm going to go back into what Dom kind of said there. If you would have sped up collaborating with others, would have helped you get a deal faster. Would you say mindset was an issue? Because I know mindset used to be a big issue for me. Have you guys ever had maybe imposter syndrome?
I still get it.
I would say yes and no. So I think collaboration is a thing. I think collaboration is how we move faster, but there's things about your personality you have to know. Like I know that I can't collaborate with anybody if I don't know enough to feel confident that I'm contributing to that collaboration. So I'm an analytical person. So I spent that first 6-7 months learning Sub 2, but I also had the privilege to do so. Not everybody is in my shoes. Some people need to put food on the table and they need to get wholesaling really quickly or flipping really quickly. I was in a privileged position that I didn't have to act out of scarcity. So for me, I was able to take the time, learn what Subject 2 was. And then when you join this community, you're like, holy cow, I'm not learning just Sub 2. I learned cash deals, what my MAO was, like how I can do.
And MAO, because remember, we were explaining everything. MAO stands for Max Allowable Offer.
Allowable Offer. And so I got so much more with, honestly, if Sub 2 was just Sub 2, maybe I would have gotten like going much faster, but it offered so much and I saw all that value. And again, because I'm analytical, I spent time learning. So that's really why. I mean, like, look, I went and got my license. I passed my test the first go around. Out of 10 people I interviewed, only I passed my test the first. Did you guys also pass your state and your fed, like the national, the first time? You did, Dom?
Yes.
And you didn't, Angie?
No.
Angie, we have the We have the cooler side anyways. You and I are just really personable. We don't need to take tests and pass them on the first go around, all right?
I stressed and studied. Angie
We're
was
the
9
pretty
months
girls on the
pregnant.
Zoom, okay? Jeez, all right.
Angie was 9 months pregnant when she did it all.
Okay.
Like,
That makes sense. That makes sense. So anyways, I'm not saying that collaboration is not probably a key, but if you know yourself, you know whether or not you're ready for that collaboration. I would say I wasn't ready.
right. That's a good thing to bring up because a lot of people don't know what they don't know. So by jumping in with people, not full-fledged, like I'm not that type of person either, just to collaborate like that. I need to know a lot of things. But for people who want their first deal and want to get in, they could jump in and test the waters. And then they learn themselves at the same time to know not only what they want, but what they don't want and how, what their skills are. So it gives them a free look to jump into real estate without going broke and getting that free look from a whole bunch of people by collaborating.
Yeah.
I love that. So I want to ask you, Angie, really quickly, since I want to hear from you, Angie, what do you think besides, I mean, maybe without having kids, because kids are a big thing, like you had to raise some children and pop some babies out. What do you think would have helped you, or what would you have wished to have available to you when you first got started to get your first deal maybe a little bit faster?
Doing creative, like in sub 2?
Creative, or like just whatever you want to keep your first property. First investment.
So, well, right when we started sub 2, I wanted to do it right away. However, I didn't even know how to wholesale. So I was like, okay, I gotta conquer this. I gotta learn this, because in the traditional side, I studied the contracts really well, because Dominic's more brought the deals, and I'm like, I need to know these contracts. But then I was like, okay, I need to know creative financing so that we can buy our first buy and hold. So I just put my head down, studied for, well, I guess 7 months until we did buy our first buy and hold. But I don't know necessarily how to answer that question, because I'm lucky. I have a team. My son's with us, his best friend Dominic. I got my other son, so we just all got together and just studied and I was on so many Zooms. I still am. I'm on Zooms, but I try to be out there and make myself noticeable and to let everybody know that I know what I'm doing. Can you be my private money lender? So I wanted to get noticed, and that's kind of what happened. I got noticed, and then I was able to start buying our
I can add to that for you.
Go ahead, take it away.
You helped everybody. She just helped. Even if she didn't know it 100%, she'd go find the answer for them. So by her just like squatting up with people, by her taking on everybody's problems and issues, she was on the fast track to learn, to get all that information. And then being in sub 2 and having all of the Zooms and everything available, she submerged herself in that. So she learned it from the ground up. And I think that was the biggest thing, is submerging yourself in all of those Zooms, and Facebooks and YouTubes and, all of the above, all of Pace's calls, his seller calls. Oh my gosh. I have dreams. I'm sleeping and I can hear Pace talking, and I can hear everybody's podcast going on, because she's on everything. So sometimes I don't know if it's real or not.
In your mind all the time. Okay. Well,
and then I will tell you, the elephant challenge is really what set us off. Because we're training people, it really helps us too.
You learn from teaching.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's been phenomenal. I mean, I love it. And people who have never done a deal, didn't even know anything about real estate, have closed deals.
So
it's amazing.
What is the elephant challenge for all of the new people? I know probably quite a bit of people on here know what the elephant challenge is, but for everybody who's new and has never heard of it, what is the elephant challenge? And then why are you two such hot commodities in the elephant challenge?
Well, Pace started it. He started a monthly Zoom where he trains the creative real estate page with Pace, right? He is allowing them to come in and to these monthly elephant challenges, and then JV with us sub 2 students to teach them how to do a deal, get their first deal, write contracts, make offers, comping them, giving them scripts, doing direct to seller, direct to agent, and they're just watching us do all this. And it helps us in turn by training them. So
monkey
it's
see,
just
monkey
been
do.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right.
That's really cool.
It wasn't that fun
yeah.
in the beginning. It was very difficult, though.
Well, yeah,
It's been
you're
it's
learning how
been
to
hard.
organize
Oh
a
my
million.
God! All these people are calling. Oh my God! They need this answer. I don't even know the answer sometimes. It was like a fire drill, but it's what we like to do anyway. It comes natural to help. So after we got our feet underneath us, it's not bad. We actually enjoy it. It's not bad. We like it.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so here's a really good one that Felicia, I hope I said that correctly, said, I studied with the different experts. I feel the knowledge is all over the place. I need help with organizing the knowledge. So when people need help, like, I know so much, I just don't know where to start taking action. If they work with you in this elephant challenge and they become, I think you guys are calling them baby elephants that are working with you, do you kind of point them in the right direction? I'm glad you have all this energy. Let me show you who to call and what to say.
Yes.
Yeah, we give them the scripts. We give them they go side by side with our guys on what to do. I like to add to that, though. I think everybody takes the approach of I want to aim and then fire, and they never fire, right? Instead of just start firing, like it's all over the place. You don't know this, you don't know that, but that's okay. Start cold calling, do whatever, right? Do something, and then you're gonna go, I hate that, I don't like to do that, or I like this. Then you're aiming. So ready, fire, aim is the approach, and that's how I would answer that question. Don't be so analytical. I get that way too. Just do something is better than nothing. No decision is better than even a bad decision. Just make a decision.
Right.
Well, I love how if you've ever listened to Jamil, what he says is you're actually building momentum. So the energy you're placing and taking action versus sitting and absorbing energy, right? When you're absorbing energy, that means you're listening, you're hearing, you're understanding. So you're absorbing energy. So you're not actually activating that energy. Activating the energy actually takes a matter of taking action. So Jamil says, if you want to actually come up and have deals and have things, you have to create momentum. And in order for you to create momentum, you have to take actions, even if they're small. I mean, I had my 13-year-old calling on the phone.
I watched that.
Yeah. And
I love it.
an appointment. And I was like, good. And it was so, I'm telling you, it was all over the place. It was actually pretty okay. But I was like, Isla, you're just an appointment setter at this point. You're just setting an appointment. That's it. So sometimes it just takes you to trick your brain on why you're calling. Like, what are you doing? What is your intention?
Right. That's the hardest part on the phones. Like, okay, I want you to call this person up. Okay, but what's my intention? Like, what are we doing? I can't just call somebody and go, hey, how you doing? You have to have that whole goal to do it. So yeah, I like that. That was a good thing she was doing. That was pretty cool. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that was so awesome.
Well, you're giving Isla a free space to fail. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, if you aren't comfortable failing, you're never going to grow. And you think about babies, when you guys have kids, I don't have any kids, but I've seen everybody have these kids. Your kid falls down the first time they try and walk, they fall down, they get back up again. They fall down, they get back up again.
I get knocked down.
Yeah, I played that earlier this morning. You know what I'm saying? So I had that earlier on the daily dial when I was.
Yep.
She even said, Mom, what if I mess up? And I said, good, mess up a lot, because what are they going to do? Take your birthday away? There's literally nothing they can do. They signed up to have us call them, in fact.
Right.
And so I was like, mess up. I also believe what is yours will come to you.
Right.
So if it's not meant to be for you, it won't be. And so, and I loved how Caroline coached her, actually. One of the things I took away that Caroline said was the people who want to be helped, it doesn't matter how much you fuck up on that phone. They will need you. They will want that help. So it doesn't matter. They won't hear the wrong thing you said. They won't hear the nervousness, the whatever. They're going to hear, how am I going to get help? Because I really need this help. And so Caroline said that to Isla, and I was like, that's so beautiful, because the people who are really mean or don't want to talk to you or whatever, they're not your vibe. They're not the people you were meant to help. Right. So it's okay. Right. Move on.
Yeah. And having that goal, that outcome, what you want, then it keeps you away from sidetracking to, all the negative stuff. You're like, I'm here to fix this. So you don't even hear all that noise if you have that goal.
You don't, when you generate, you don't have to tolerate. So this is a big key. So I don't know how many people I saw a few people said they're looking for their first deal. And I see your question, Naz. We'll get back over to your question in a moment. But if you guys are looking for your first deal, I want you to remember, if you don't have leads, you don't have a business. I know Angie and Dom, you guys have people constantly prospecting, seeing if they want to sell any deals, or working with agents and letting them know, like, hey, if you have anything sitting, it's not going to work, we'll end up buying, and you're cultivating that relationship. But again, remember, if you don't have leads, you don't have a business. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, because if you trip and fall, everything's gone. You've wasted all your time on that one lead. But what I also, just for everybody here, what I said to Isla is, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, and you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. So when you don't have to tolerate jerks and people that want nothing to do with you, you don't have to be on the phone. I actually did a role play on Monday with a student. So on Mondays, we focus on cash. So I'm sure you guys know this. You've heard me say this, but whenever we buy stuff creatively, it's always cash, 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 go for terms last, because you never know, a cash deal might work for somebody, and if you don't want to keep it, you can wholesale it, or you can wholesale it to your buy and hold company. You might even be able to, you never know what somebody wants. But I remember the girl was role playing with me, and she was a pre-foreclosure lead. And Ingrid and I we're at pre-foreclosures, or some of the leads we're hitting here. And the girl that was role playing with me I was like, hey, give me what you got. And Jason Lombardi messaged her. He's like, be mean to her, be really tough on Caroline, because people want to see how I'd handle it. And she was just like yelling, like, what are you going to do with me? You're like the 400th person to call me. What are you going to do? Blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I am so sorry, Angie. Did I say something to upset you? Like, immediately identify that. And then if they're going to be a jerk, they're going to continue being a jerk, or they might back down. And once they back down, you're like, come in as a position of authority. Hey, we actually help people in situations like this all the time. And I'm going to tell you right now, I just helped a family last week in the same situation. And what we were able to do is help their credit and get them something rather than nothing, where it would have been foreclosed with the bank.
Right.
And that student was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she just got me to cool off, because I'm trying to be really aggressive. And there's people you deal with that all the time. You guys, if you've seen me, I've been calling on YouTube too for the leads that Ingrid and I have before we're handing them out. And you guys don't have to deal with people that don't want to sell. So that was the main point I wanted to drive home. When you generate, you don't have to tolerate. So just always be prospecting. Ingrid, myself, Angie, and Dom, we will buy all the deals. We will help you close deals, especially if you're new. I think that's been the key for you, Angie and Dom. And I know for me and Ingrid as well, working with other people and collaborating. I know, Ingrid, you helped Joseph close a few deals. You helped with a situation with insurance. Ingrid has so much more experience with leadership than I do. I love talking to Ingrid, just getting her perspective on stuff. So if you guys feel like you're on an island by yourself, you're not. Right now, let me grab my favorite life vest for you. I can't grab this. I'll throw it over to you. I just threw it, and you can come thank you, Angie. You guys can come hang out with us and message us. We have our Instagrams on here. Connect with us. We want to help you. So you're not alone. Reach out. And this is what I'm going to say before I let Ingrid ask the next question here. When you reach out to Ingrid, myself, Angie, or Dom, and you're new and you're lost, or somebody said, if I have a deal here, how can I find a buyer? Come in with value and know what somebody wants before you ask them for something. I'm saying this as a favor to you, because I don't answer people that are just rude to me and are like, fix this. Okay. So Ingrid and I are looking for deals in the Phoenix area. Okay. The smallest we want to go is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath property. All right. And we want to be able to cash flow. All right. I'm going to keep it vague. You guys can send us stuff. Angie and Dom, and we're also looking for private money. We're always looking for private money. So Angie and Dom, I'm assuming yours is similar, and you're looking for stuff in Colorado Springs.
Go ahead, Angie. I'll let you go.
So we have a variety of where we're looking. We've bought 3 in Corpus Christi, Texas. We want Arizona. I actually want to buy something in Arizona to live in, so we could go back and forth from Colorado to Arizona, because I want to be around everybody out there. But we also are buying in South Carolina. We've just bought one in Ohio, or Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
We like Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia.
We're all over the place.
Yeah,
so
but literally we're pulling lists.
Major cities got to be close to at least 45 minutes from a major city.
So everybody, please hear that. Don't send us somebody message, like I was on Facebook Live before. They're like, I need help selling my deal in rural Indiana. Guys, I used to live in Indiana. Nobody wants to live in the middle of nowhere, Indiana.
That's the problem. That's like buying a street sign where there's 2 people that live there. Well, I got a big billboard. You're like, but 2 people live there. Like, who gives a crap?
Yeah.
So wasting your time.
Angie and Dom are going to buy. we're going to buy stuff in the major cities. So keep that in mind when you start marketing. Ingrid and I are looking the same. If you guys had to pick one major area to send deals to you specifically, where would be your number one spot you want to get deals sent to?
That's a good question. Answer that, Angie. What would you say?
Blue states or red states?
Phoenix.
There you go.
Phoenix, probably.
So before you send Angie and Dom deals, you send them to me and Ingrid, and then we'll pass it over to Angie and Dom. I'm just kidding. So pass it over. But
we want to move there, so that's one reason why.
Yeah. Well, you should have told Joey to keep that deal he sold over to Mike and Trish.
We gotta get in a different position before we.
Yeah, we weren't ready then.
Hey, that's okay. We're ready now. So
yeah.
Ingrid, I'll hand it over to you, but I do want to get back up to Naz's question about wholesaling, and I think we can talk about that.
Yeah. So we get asked a lot, hey, how do you get started in real estate investing? And I want to kind of redirect it back to the elephant challenge, where the elephant challenge is answering exactly that. And you will be holding the baby elephant's hands. Now, when these folks sign up and they get taught how to get started in real estate investing, what are some of those upfront expectations? Because I do know that for me, when people come to work with me, or if I help them through a deal, I try to be upfront. I first ask, are you looking to wholesale this? Are you looking to keep it? Because I'm not trying to take from anybody's, family, right? Or, I'll say, hey, if I have to contract this, if I have to talk to the seller agent and I have to I'm doing most of the work, we're going to go on a 20-80 split, for example. But I also know that there's different caliber of people that get involved in the elephant challenge. And it's a lot of work for leaders. It is. I'm not trying to downplay that whatsoever. So what are some of those upfront contracts that you have with folks that join the elephant challenge so that they're aware that, look, this is an education challenge. You are going to learn for free. So what are some of those things people should know?
For me, the biggest thing is the culture when they come aboard. If they're coming here just to make money, they're in the wrong spot, because it's like putting all the burden on us. I got to make sure he's making money. Well, they got to make sure that they're doing what they need to do and the money will come.
Say that one more time for everybody.
So the biggest thing is the culture. Like if making money is the only thing on your mind, like when do I start making money? We're probably not the right place to start. Just because we're not telling you how much money you're going to make before we let you into the challenge. We're saying, hey, everybody, come on, let's learn. So it's the culture first. That's the first thing we look at before we say, come on the team.
I'm going to say this for everybody, because I am rereading and I'm actually studying Rich Dad Poor Dad for everybody who's doing the Rise to 75 challenge with me. And the chapter, I believe all the successful people in real estate just took Rich Dad Poor Dad and they're like, all right, this is how I'm going to do it. One of the chapter, I think it's the header of chapter 5, work to learn, don't work to earn. If you guys come in here and you're like, this is an opportunity where I can hang out with Ingrid for a day, I can hang out with Dom and Angie, and I can just soak up everything they're doing and see how people actually close. I mean, I'm just curious, who wouldn't want to ride shotgun? I got to hang out with Ingrid when she locked up the $1 million house in Gilbert. I was like, she really knows how to handle this assertive, aggressive lady. Like I was just like, I recorded it. I was like, this is cool.
You cut your learning curve off by who knows how much, because you've seen a live thing happening and you have that person, your buddy, showing you and teaching you and telling you afterwards, or you would have had to do 20 deals, lose all this money, and probably not even be close to where you're at.
Yeah.
Right.
So if I had the opportunity to ride shotgun with Pace with any of these high level people, I would absolutely do that. So I'm just saying, guys, remember, work to learn, don't work to earn. The money will come once you understand how to do everything. So,
and if you're capable, I look at everything as being equitable, right? It may not be fair or whatever, but it's equitable. How much are you, like you said, Ingrid, earlier, how much are you doing? How much are we doing? And the people that know what they're doing, they know their worth, and it shows. They know what they're doing. The people that are brand new that don't, that shows as well. So it's easy to structure it at that point. You just have to find the right person in the beginning. Otherwise, you're fighting down the road because you didn't realize that they were the person that just wanted to earn money and they weren't that team player and the whole nine. And we've had that too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which sucks.
Totally. Okay. So you are upfront with them and you tell them like, hey, here's going to be the dynamic. You set the culture.
We set the culture.
And again,
yep.
And by the way, how the Milanazzos tell you how their team is running should also give you a parallel view of how you should run your own business. At the end of the day, the elephant challenge is not just how do I close a deal? It's also how do I run a business? Because it literally becomes that, right? You have a group of folks that you're running through leads, you're working like culture, management, process, systems.
Right.
Like there's so much that you get exposed to.
And the resources.
Exactly. Beyond how do you're going to learn the title companies to work with, TCs to work with, like
for free.
Mm-hmm.
That costs it costs us a lot of money to learn all those things, to get to all those places. You know, they have a question that I can't answer, or maybe, you know, they need something done in Phoenix and Ingryd's good at it. How would they know Ingryd? They wouldn't, but they do because they're in the challenge. I'm like, oh, hey, you need to talk to Ingryd in Arizona. You need to talk to Caroline in Arizona. They can help you. That is worth anything. That's worth so much money that you can't even put a dollar amount on.
You're sharing a relationship that you've built with Ingryd and myself. I mean, like, you wouldn't even know how to open that door, and you wouldn't even know that opportunity existed without.
Right. So we have a lot of elephants. When they graduate from being a baby, they're an elephant. So we have a lot of elephants out there that, yeah, we've hooked them up with tons of resources and tons of people that they would have never known across the country. And that's worth so much money. So there's a few different ways getting in real estate and learning, but the resources as well, that's a huge benefit. Huge. And then you have that credibility already. I was on the Elephant Challenge with Angie and Dom, and we did this, that, and the other. Yeah, I know Pace. I was on a Zoom with him once before. Whatever. They have that credibility when they start to talk to whoever else they're talking to down the road when they're not working with us anymore.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Okay, so we have some good questions in the chats. Do we want to pull some of those questions?
Yeah.
Angie, I love you. You're breathing into your little thing. So I'm hearing you breathe.
You're good.
Okay.
It was too far up.
I'm just so excited. I missed, where did Nas's question go? They were asking about wholesaling, and it was purple. I know. Did you find it? There we go. As a wholesaler, if I take a property under contract and I cannot find the buyer, do I have to buy the property, Angie?
Also, if I take
what's the situation?
It all depends. So it's the situation. So within the contract, you have a deadline for your earnest money, right? Which is the inspection deadline. So if you go past that, you can. If you don't go past that, you can get out of the contract. You can terminate.
So let's stop really quickly again, just because this is our podcast is explain it. What is wholesaling for the people that have no idea how to wholesale real estate? And I'll let Dom take this one, and then we'll go back to you, Angie.
Basically, finding a property and selling it to another individual where you don't hold a real estate license typically is wholesaling. That's how I understand it.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
What's the definition? What's the definition?
So imagine this is a contract. So I find this house and this person's in distress is the most common thing in wholesale. Sure. And we get under contract, and I'm a wholesaler. And I'm like, hey, I have this buyer and I know exactly what they want. So I'm just going to assign my interests in this contract, in that property. So this piece of paper to that person. So you're actually, when you're wholesaling, you're actually selling the paper. You're not necessarily selling the house. And
that's a legal thing, right, Ingryd? Like you can't really be acting as an agent, because then you would need to be licensed. And I know in some states you do, but
you're marketing the house,
right? And we are.
If you're selling the house, excuse me. Go ahead, Ingryd.
Yeah, you're marketing a paper, a contract. Right. You're assigning a contract. Your interest in that contract, not the actual property. Now, if you close on that house and then you sell, because your name is now on the deed and you're selling that deed, now you're actually selling real property. So it's very different. One is paper, the other is real property.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd like to add to that. So this is when do you have to buy the house? So that's all the technical legal stuff. But as far as ethics, depends on the situation. But if you went in and somebody's losing their home and you told them that you could fix everything and then you hold it for 30 days and then you can't fix it and you can't do good on that contract, well, that's no way to be. You have to make sure you take care of people, number one, first. For any profit, for any contract, for anything like that, you take care of that homeowner and what's best for them. And sometimes you might have to buy that freaking property because you didn't lock it up properly and you can't get rid of it. So before you go lock up properties, make sure you know the situation and that you have the juice to do what you need to do to take care of those sellers.
Exactly. And this community of wholesalers, even across state lines, is very small. So in my opinion, if you get to be known as somebody who locks up deals and then doesn't see them through the finish line, then your reputation is going to get around. I will say this, Naz. So when you do have a contract, if you don't execute on that contract, so if you don't perform on that contract, you should have exchanged value. You should have what we call consummated that contract. So your earnest money that you'll put down when you open up title, your escrow will go in. You're going to open up escrow. So basically, it's just an account specific to real estate. And if you do not perform on that contract, and let's say you go past your due diligence period, your inspection period, you forfeit that EMD. So that's the trade-off. If you don't actually perform on that contract, you'll lose your EMD, or your EMD is at risk. And that's how you make the seller whole again for essentially wasting their time, for locking up a deal too high.
I mean, and not only their time, like sometimes there's sellers where they really believe somebody, like sometimes wholesalers pretend that they're buyers saying, I'm going to buy this deal. I'm going to buy this deal. And you're not telling them like, hey, you're giving yourself, like you're bringing a partner in or whatever it is. And homeowners will sometimes pack up their entire lives expecting it to close on a certain date, or they're going to lose their house to a foreclosure auction. And now they're caught with their pants down because you weren't being ethical and you really screwed over somebody at the lowest point in their life. So just keep that in mind.
You know what we do? We tell them that we're wholesaling. Like we're just upfront and honest, say, this is what we're going to do. We are wholesaling this, because we first go in wanting maybe to buy it, but then we say, but hey, we may wholesale this. Is that okay with you? And guess what? Because we're upfront and honest, they're okay with it.
If you solve my problem and you get me the number that I need,
what does it matter?
In the next chapter of my life, you can do whatever. You can throw a party in here. Just if we're going to do what you say is going to happen, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. I don't necessarily say it that way. If I'm being honest with you, I don't necessarily say, hey, I'm wholesaling. What I will say is I have intentions of buying this property. And after my due diligence, if we find that there might be, this might be too much for me to handle, are you okay if I find somebody else who I think might be able to take care of this for you? So that's the way I say.
And that's a true statement, Ingrid, because you may do that because that's what you're hunting for. We're hunting to keep these properties, but they don't always work for us. So they do work for our partners.
Correct. Our goal is to help the seller at the end of the day. So for sure.
Yeah. It's a tool in our tool bag. We have all of these tools to help you.
Bringing it back to the elephant challenge, to go to Naz's question, if you're concerned about putting a property under contract and not being able to perform, that is why coming to the elephant challenge and joining one of these teams, part of the way that we'll be able to mitigate that, because the number one thing I see as a problem in real estate investing is comping. If you don't know how to comp, you are not going to be an investor. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
It takes time to learn that too.
And it's foundational. Comping is the thing that will say, I'm going to say something that's controversial. You are not an investor if you're only wholesaling. In my opinion, you're not an investor.
Right.
Now, you're a service worker, just like an agent, in my opinion. You're servicing people who actually put risk on the line and they actually put money into something and invest. So that's my opinion. Get mad at me. That's fine. But I believe that if you're going to be an investor and know what you're buying, you need to learn how to comp.
And that just takes time, though. That's why people want to jump in. Like that question, who had that? Who was it, Naz?
Yeah, Naz.
I don't know their level of expertise, but there's about a million other questions that are going to come up like that throughout that process.
Well,
you have to know.
And Dom, here's where I would argue with you. I like to argue.
Let's do it. I'm the youngest of 7, so let's go.
You don't need to know. You just need to squat up with
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. So needing to know, meaning when they come in, I know how to do this, and I'm going to give them money kind of thing, because that seems to be the biggest thing. I want the most because I did this. Well, but you don't know things. Like, okay, if you stop getting help right now, what happens to your deal? You may get sued because you just don't have that experience. I was watching a clip on, you guys know who Ice Cube is, a rapper?
Oh, yes, I know who Ice Cube is.
So he had something. He said, if you're not willing to like work 5 years hard, and I know that's extensive, without making a quarter, he said a quarter, that's how he said it though, without making a quarter, then get the hell out, right? Because it just takes that time to establish yourself and to learn all of these things and go through all these bumps and bruises. So the Elephant Challenge gives you all those bumps and bruises with somebody to tell you what is going on, what's right and what's wrong.
It takes 10,000 hours to become an expert in anything. 10,000 hours. That's actually scientifically proven. It takes 10,000 hours.
Right.
So by joining the Elephant Challenge and teaming up with people like the Milanazzos, you're literally hacking. You're hacking those 10,000 hours.
Yes.
You're compressing how quickly you become an expert.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Yep.
I love it. That's
100%.
exactly right. It's been a great thing for us because it's humbled us. It's taught us so much, and just the people that enjoy what we do and appreciate us, that's worth everything. Yes, we like earning money. We have to pay for things and all that kind of stuff. But, there's a lot of ways to just earn money, and that kind of sucks. But this way, I mean, we're changing people's lives. People are depressed, and they said, I couldn't make any phone calls, and now I'm making phone calls, and I'm talking to people about this and that and the other and contracts. Like, what the hell? I never thought I could do that. That's awesome. That is some cool stuff to see happen.
So just because I'm going to be mindful of your time, and I actually have to call somebody who's in pre-foreclosure after our podcast, so I can't be on here too long. But John Flores said, does someone working a full-time job have time to join the Elephant Challenge?
Heck yeah.
Angie? Okay. So what does it look like when you're in the Elephant Challenge? Are you working 9 hours a day?
I'm glad you brought that up. No, so what we do is we're not so like technical on everybody. Like, we need you to do this, that we have to have some things, but they can work on their own time, right? If their time is at night, they call it night. If it's in the morning, they call in the morning. And if we don't have lists for them, we accommodate and find a list. That's why our buy box is kind of everywhere. We'll find the list and go, okay, so you're in this location. You could call it this time. This is what you can do. And we'll get that list just for them if they're hungry enough and eager enough to do it.
That's a big life hack, because I remember when I first I haven't even got to tell Ingryd this. We just got our CRM set up. I'm like, this is so nice. I can just sit and dial instead of having to like pull this. Like, it's just like easy and already automated. When I first got started cold calling and stuff, I'm like, where do I get this data? Who should I be calling? What should I be doing? So it sounds like you're getting all the thinking out. They just get to crunch numbers, come to a Zoom with you guys twice a week. Are you guys doing Zooms twice a week explaining everything?
So we do it twice a week for the general, and then people who have been on the team, like we vetted them. Yeah, we do one every day.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And then are you giving people KPIs, like key performance indicators?
You know what? We're getting better at it because we're starting to get our systems in place, but we're not great at that.
Well, Rachel started doing KPIs for our first set of baby elephants, but now like we literally just brought on, I think 30 more last week.
Wow.
Now we'll be creating more KPIs. They haven't started calling yet because we've been doing training.
Okay, so I want to pause for a moment. So your systems are not up, but you're still doing deals. How many deals are you doing right now?
What is it, Ange? 7 to 10 a month, depending.
Yeah.
Woo! 7 to 10 a month, and you guys are just taking action.
It may even be more. I'm not kidding. Like I just keep seeing them come in my email. Like, oh wow, oh gosh, oh.
We're not trying to be perfect either. Like, there's a lot of holes that we have. Like, I know that, but money can kind of fix that because you got the thing going. Then okay, now we got to fix that hole. Let's pay somebody to do that or whatever. But where you just have everything perfect and there's no money coming in, that sucks. That's a problem. So we're ready, firing, and then we're aiming. So we're just copy and paste, man. Just doing what he does. When we mess up, we tell him, hey, there's a problem. We'll fix it. It's identified. We apologize. We'll fix that problem.
That's so cool. So you guys are working on progress over perfection, and then you guys are just getting deals done and learning as you go.
Exactly.
Yep. There's one thing I ask a lot of people. I don't know if anybody on here. So the people on screen, anybody on here are perfectionists? I'm doubting that you guys are perfectionists up here. Wow.
I am. So it's really hard.
Tell them what you said, Caroline.
Well, you're recovery. She was on the Zoom with me today. That's okay. Hey, if you guys identify as a perfectionist, that means that it's a fancy way of saying that you're a procrastinator.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
I don't want to disappoint anybody. I don't want to disappoint. I don't want to do wrong. Like I'm the youngest of 7. So that was kind of like my thing. Right.
But I want you to say this instead. Don't say that you're a perfectionist anymore. Say that you're a recovering perfectionist.
There you go. I'm a recovering perfectionist.
That's totally fine. And that's how you get better. Like, because you would never, like, I loved your analogy at the very beginning. Most people they line up the scope and they wait and they never pull the trigger. Whereas you are pulling the trigger. And if you miss, that's okay. You're correcting and you're realizing that your scope isn't lined up perfectly and you're readjusting. And then you know how to shoot, aim, and then get.
I shot 4 people, a park ranger, a bear, and I was aiming for an elk, but I finally got the elk.
There you go. Ingrid, what'd you bring up here?
So I just want to remind everybody that you will not be able to join the Elephant Challenge if you don't sign up. Oh. So Angie, you actually had baby challenges. I meant baby elephants, and you've had some of them around you for a year. Is that right?
Yeah, a year.
Yeah. So just so everybody understands, joining the Elephant Challenge is really just a Kickstarter, but who you join with and who you cultivate those relationships with, and remember, be coachable. That's important. Mm-hmm. Be coachable. That you may end up extending how long you have those relationships and that support. So here we're hearing Angie like, hey, I've had these folks around me for a year. So yes, the challenge starts at June 21st, and when does it end?
24th.
24th. Okay, so it's 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. That's 4 days. 4 days of learning the tools and your targets and what you're going to be focused on. But that's just the kickstart. The real work begins when you're on these teams, when you're lead generating, when you're dealing with all the issues that will come across. 70% of deals go to die at title. So let's all have that perspective. So what's important? Keeping that pipeline going. If you can't keep that pipeline going, then I'm sorry, this is not for you.
Right.
So anyway, just want to make sure we're on the same page here. Yes, the Elephant Challenge is only 4 days long, but we
keep it going. We keep it going, Ingrid. Exactly. That's our success. We didn't stop doing the challenge.
Right. And when you say it's 4 days long, just so you guys know, typically every month they talk about it and they walk you through what's going on, and then you get to be on Angie and Dom's team, and it's like for life. Like they're doing this, and they're
we do deals with ex-elephants or whatever you want to call them, and hook them up with resources, and they're doing their own deals. They're calling us up, hey, I got this going on, and they're self-sufficient, right? So that's just how it works for us. We just keep that perpetually going. But if they jump on the Elephant Challenge, right? Somebody jumps on there and they're in there for those 4 days. Well, there's a whole bunch of us in there. There's a whole bunch of us sub 2 people that want to be leaders, that are Elephant Challenge leaders. So they can go and look who they like and communicate and whatever they want to do and jump on their team. So that's a great time for the elephants to see who they like, who they don't like at that point in time, and who they want to roll with.
Yeah. And John, okay, you're already strike one, John Flores. We answered your question. The Milinazzos said that if you have a full-time job, they're going to work with you to have a list that makes sense against the timeline you have. So let's say you have a full-time job, you get off at 5, you're on the East Coast. So, hey, 5 p.m. in the East Coast is 2 o'clock in Arizona. So why don't we get you some list that you can call? It's on this side of town, this side of the United States, so that it makes sense for you. So what we heard them say is that they're going to work with folks and their schedule. What matters is 2 things: your consistency and your commitment. By far, those 2 things will determine whether or not you're going to be successful.
Yeah, because even if you have that full-time job and let's say you're only making 2 hours a week or 2, whatever it is, and you start to get some traction and you keep going, you'll find the time to make more calls and do more things. It will just progressively happen. So don't let a full-time job stop you. That's actually a superpower a lot of times, because you don't have commission breath or fee breath, whatever you want to call it. So you're able to really learn and open up and go full force. Whereas if you need that money, all of a sudden, man, it's very hard to sell something when you need the money.
When you have that commission.
Yes.
It just does not, it doesn't work. I don't care how good of a salesman you are.
So I just went through sales training, and I went through the same sales training that Pace went through. And that was one of the biggest things when you go into these conversations, you can't go into it with, I need to get this deal. I need to get this deal. One of the things I write it down every day. Like, I don't need these deals. I am financially free. I'm going to go in because it's an opportunity and I can help somebody. So if you think of it that way, it changes completely. I just want to tag on to what Ingryd said. And I'm going to challenge all of you guys. Study outside of the elephant challenge or whatever you're doing. And really, like she said this, be coachable, but you have to be coachable. Don't expect Dom, Angie, Ingryd, myself to spoon feed you all the time. We don't want to enable you, but we'll give you the recipe. You still have to bake the cake. All right. You still got to put all the ingredients in, mix it up. And if you burn,
and if you can't find the mixer, make one.
Yeah. Okay. So just make sure when you're going in, don't quit. Okay. So that's what she's saying. I just want to reiterate that so you understand, like, outside of that, maybe you read a book. So Nas also just said right here, Nas said, could you please clarify what type of people, expectation, are you looking for your elephant challenge? I joined a team and was fired in a week because I am inexperienced and not able to build rapport. Now, I'm going to say this. I feel like you're limiting yourself by saying that, okay? Ingryd got on me the other day. I was like, I hate cold calling. And she's like, don't say that. The universe is listening. And I was like, all right, you're right. I don't hate cold calling. But if you tell yourself you're a bad closer and you don't know how to build rapport, you're right, because what you say matters. And if you can, like, if you realize you're not doing a great job at building rapport, watch some of Pace's calls, watch some of my calls, watch, like, Ingryd's make calls. Dom and Angie, I'm sure that you guys have calls that you do on the Zooms with everybody. Find somebody, emulate them. And a really good book to get is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Okay. Like, just study outside of this. And, like, don't just get, like, this is something I'm saying this because I'm talking to the younger version of Caroline. I don't know if anybody else is like me or was like me, but I used to get a book and be like, how quickly can I read this so I can go get another book and read it? Now that I've changed, I bought a went to Barnes and Noble, spent a lot of money on books, and I bought the Sharpie highlighters. I bought that like a month ago. I have burned through my highlighter because I've been highlighting so much in this book, but I'm retaining more because that's how my brain works. Yeah. So when you're not in these Zooms or able to talk to somebody, study. Yes, our mind hears everything. I love that Ingryd's throwing these up that Carly and Deanna are saying here.
YouTube is your friend, man. If you just go and listen to Pace's YouTube, there's lots of people, but late at night, instead of watching Netflix, go through YouTube's shorts even work. I mean, because it just puts something in your brain. You're like, oh, I could have said that on the phone to build rapport or whatever that happens to be. So don't let that discourage you about building rapport. You don't even know yet. Have you made 1,000 calls? Maybe you're going to be great at it. You just don't know. You haven't had that opportunity yet. So yeah, we take all skill levels, and I wouldn't let that stop you, because that's probably a lie you're telling yourself.
So Felicia just also says, to work with a team must do find a leader and when I join this time. So can they reach out to you on Instagram and maybe try and find a way? Like, how should people reach out to you to have the opportunity to join your team? Because this is not.
You want the Dominic answer or the Rachel answer? Because the Dominic answer.
Let me give the answer.
Angie, okay, we'll get Angie to give the answer. Go ahead, Angie. Tell us the answer.
You go to elephantchallenge.info, right? You register for the challenge. Once you register for the challenge, it's going to take you to a page where it says join a team. You're going to click on join a team. Then it's going to take you to the new platform, Circle Manifesto. You're going to sign up for that. And then you're going to see all of the teams. You're going to see all the leaders in there and all the states, whatever state you want to do deals in. But you can be on anybody's team.
In any state, doesn't matter your state, though, right, Ange? Oh, wow. They could be any state.
You can be in New York and work on your team, even though you're based out of Colorado.
Yes, definitely.
Hey, Angie, am I on that list as the leader?
Okay, so Carly's on here. Carly, we got to get Ingryd on this to be a leader.
So I have a question about that, because I'm not systematized for it. So are you guys going to have like a elephant challenge, wannabe leaders? Here's the things to have, like fundamentals.
So we are. We're going to we'll have a leader Zoom, and
here's what we use.
We're going to show everybody
what we ask, the elephants to do. Here's kind of like our structure, our fee thing, that we're going to put all that together for everybody.
We want everybody to copy and paste.
Okay.
Copy and paste.
So, yeah, really.
I will say this. So I'm leaving for a huge hiking trip. We leave Tuesday next week, and then we don't come back till Monday.
Oh, whoa!
It's the Havasupai Falls hike.
Ooh.
So
if you guys don't know what it is, you need to look it up. It is one of the most beautiful hikes. It's on Native American reservation land, so you cannot just be like, I'm going to go there for a weekend. Like Ingryd and her husband Mark have been planning this since before COVID, I think, right?
Oh,
correct.
wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like 4 years in the making.
Mm-hmm.
What was it called?
That's
Havasupai
cool.
what?
Havasupai, but
Havasupai Falls.
throw it in the side chat because it's not. I'm from the middle of nowhere, America, so I was like Havasu P-I-E. It's there you go. There she just it's all one word. So
Pie.
yeah.
Oh.
I thought you said pipe. I was like, oh, okay.
So I won't be here for the challenge because I literally
That's okay.
will not have access to email. I won't have access to phone. It's going to be great.
Ingryd, because you're very technical, like you would do well at it with them teaching. I mean, it's hard because they ask the same question. It's like doing what Pace does, but on a small level. But you would do well because you have all that information and you have all that knowledge. So it would benefit you to be a leader in it.
And it keeps going, Ingryd. So yeah, we'll have the elephant challenge, but we need more leaders. Well, I will say that we do need more leaders.
Yeah, because
there's
we have
a lot
like
of people.
400 people or whatever.
I
Yeah.
just wanted you guys to see where Ingryd's going. Look how freaking cool this picture is.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought you were
That's
cutting to a commercial. I was like, what's happening?
No, I just wanted you guys to see this freaking where she's hiking to.
No.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
That's all I want.
So where do you camp, in the wilderness?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. You literally, our camp, I have a 2-person tent with Mark, and then you roll out, you a little air mattress, but it's like this thin. And then that's what you sleep on. Mm-hmm.
Pack it in, you pack it out.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you pack in, you got to take out. That's
on
right.
your back.
Are you guys gonna do the helicopter, or you're gonna hike it the whole way?
I'm definitely hiking in. That's a 12-mile hike. I think typically what you're carrying is between 20 and 50 pounds. And on my way back up, we'll see, because we'll see how I'm feeling. I am getting older, so I feel like, okay, $100 to pay for a helicopter to take me out. I think I deserve it. So
I'd probably do the helicopter.
Yeah.
I would do the helicopter.
I would too. And if you're lucky enough, you could potentially get a pack mule to carry your stuff out.
But there's a crazy dopamine high that you get when you do something that's challenging and uncomfortable. So part of this is also that, right? Very much like Elephant Challenge. Like, you're doing this to challenge your boundaries, like your comfort level. So part of going to Havasupai Falls for me is, can I do it? Can I carry a pack for 12 miles? And I'm a very slow hiker. Like, I love Caroline. Caroline takes me to good hiking spots, but that bitch is fast. And I'm always like, I'm so slow. Legs. Like,
so I'm all torso.
Wait.
Yeah. So anyway, I know we are at time. You guys have been so amazing for staying over. Really, really appreciate it. So are there any last words that you would like the audience to know? What else?
Don't listen to the crap in your head. If you want to do something, do it. Be coachable. Go after it. It doesn't matter what you know, who you know. If you get to the challenge, you will meet the right people. And if you're challenging yourself, just like you said, growing, you're going to get better, and you're going to find where you want to be. Maybe you don't want to be an investor. Maybe you want to be a cold caller. Maybe you want to be whatever you want to be, but you're going to find that by squatting up, getting in the Elephant Challenge, and being around the people who are doing deals.
Yep.
Amazing.
Angie, I'm going to ask you this question because I didn't get to hear from you much. You're my one I want to ask. If you could go back in time at any point in your life and you have 2 minutes to talk to yourself, what do you say and when do you go back? Good question.
Gosh, that is a hard question.
Gosh, that's like the key to the.
I don't even know.
I'll give you, so for me, what I would have done is I would have gone back to probably when I was like 18, 19, right before I signed up for the Army, or right after I signed up, like right after I got back from basic training. And I would have just told myself to get into like self-help sooner. I didn't start getting into self-help till I was 28. because of self-help, I found like Tony Robbins. I've done so many things, and my financial literacy has gone up. My anxiety and my depression has gone way down. I'm happier. I'm healthier. And it's because I started focusing on myself instead of trying to impress everybody around me. It used to just be like, how do I get to do all these things? So if I would go back, it'd be either 18 or like 20. And I would just tell myself to just do more self-help stuff. And that'd be a big one.
I like that. I think.
Gosh, I really like that. Honestly, like I wish I would have done that at an earlier age. Like I started late.
Yeah.
And that age, 18, 20 is when everybody's like, I'm going to college and I'm a genius and I got a 8.0. They used to just have 4.0s. Now they got 4.5, whatever. So then you're sitting there going, well, what the heck? I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, what am I? And then you start to kind of feel like, oh, life is not what it was going to be, what I thought, because everybody starts to go their ways right after high school. And you think everybody's got it covered. And if you're not working on yourself and your mind and all that, you fall into a spot where you just kind of settle. And you don't really know your capabilities, and then that becomes your identity. Then it's very hard to get out of your identity in your 30s and 40s because you think this is what I've done and this is me. So you just have to go back and redefine your identity. That would be the best thing.
Ooh, all right, Angie. Anything you want to say? You just say the same thing as me.
Honestly, I feel that I would, but I would say
Angie, we are on the same side of the screen. You and I have the same energy.
And I know, I know, I feel it all the time too. When I'm around you. Everything you say, I'm like, oh my God, she's saying what how I feel. That's how I am.
I'm glad I'm not alone in this. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on here. Everybody who's on here, please, if you have not already, share this with somebody that you think might get some value. Connect with Angie and Dom through Instagram. But I'm going to say this. I'm actually going to, if you guys cannot see, it's underneath Angie. Ingrid and I have a Facebook group, and I'm going to throw it in the side chat. It's also on our link trees. It's called Explain It, and you can also see it as Rise to the Challenge. So we're doing both of those. You can connect with us in there. Ingrid and I are in there all the time. We can help you guys out, but use your network. Your network is your net worth. And when you hang around a group of people that are working on their mental health or self-improvement or real estate and buying deals or raising money, that's, if you want to be like those people, hang out with those people. Right. All right. So that's what I'd say. Connect the group. You got something else you want to say before we go?
I do. Could we throw out our group?
Yeah, our name?
It's on. Rachel, do you want to put that in there for me? Thank you. It's called Herd of Profits. It's a Facebook group. So that's kind of the same thing. You could just go into that. Herd, like HERD.
Gotcha. Like a herd of elephants.
Yep.
I love that.
There you go. Like a herd of elephants.
That's a great visualization. Herd of Profits on Facebook. Okay, cool.
Yep,
boom. So here's ours. I'll wait for Rachel's because I don't see Rachel throwing yours in yet. But this is ours. Explain It with Caroline and Ingrid. There's our Facebook link so you guys can join us.
Or
there it is. So you just search Herd of Profits. So she just put the name of it. And you
Yeah, and in Circle, when you register for the Elephant Challenge and you get sign up in the new platform, the Circle Manifesto, you'll see our Herd of Profits in there, and you'll be able to get the Zooms.
Sorry, I interrupted you, babe. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Why don't you put somebody on it? If you want to be an elephant leader for the challenge, you're going to be gone. Just put somebody else on it. At least you started there, right? And then you build from it. I know somebody. I'm pointing to her on the screen. You can't tell me.
Well, guys, again, thank you so much. I'm actually going to go join her. You know what? I'm going to just do it right now. How would I just find it?
Come and join. Anybody's welcome.
Yeah. Let's walk through this just so we can do this together so we see how to join. So Herd of Profits. Let's go over to Facebook. You guys can see this is our group. I'll just type it in here. Herd of Profits. Let's see what I get. Use the search function. Is this it?
Yep.
Boom. I'm going to join. I'm going to guess there's going to be some questions that I have to answer. Beautiful. I'll make sure I answer these questions and I'll join the group. Angie, Dom, thank you so much. Tell Joey, your daughter, and everybody else.
They're golfing.
Huh?
Joey and Dylan are golfing.
Oh.
Well, it's been raining for like 40 days and 40 nights here in Colorado. They love golfing, right? So it's a nice day. And they work Saturdays, Sundays, late at night. They don't give a crap. So that's the thing. We just let them do kind of what they
and that's the cool thing about the flexibility of being your own boss. Like you bust your butt when nobody else is watching. That's how you have the freedom to be able to go and golf on a freaking Wednesday at 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock or whatever. So that's
and they're our secret sauce, man. They kick butt because we let them make all those mistakes, right? Mm-hmm. So they're really our secret sauce.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Ingrid, thank you. I'm going to let you sign us off. We're going to get out of here. Take it away, Ingrid.
All right. I love that we
Thank
ended
you.
with mindset. So just a kind reminder that we are having a mindset mastermind at the end of June. So if you want to hang out with Caroline, if you want to hang out with me, if you want to hang out with Marlon, consider joining us. We're going to have it at the Manor. So literally the $1 million property that we bought subject to. And so again, this is a free podcast, free 99. So share it with your friends, share it with your neighbors, share it with your dogs, whatever. And let them know that we have a lot of value to provide to you. So don't forget to follow Angie Milinazzo and Dom on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle?
Mine is just my first and last name, 73. Dominic Milinazzo, 73.
I wonder if he was born in 1973.
And how about you, Angie?
It's Angie Milinazzo.
Oh, easy money.
Angie Milinazzo.
Okay. Cool. Awesome sauce. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for being on our podcast today. And we really appreciate it. And hopefully you'll see a lot coming your way through the Elephant Challenge.
Yes.
All right, everybody.
Love it.
Have a great night. Bye, everyone. See you later.